Where does Islamophobia come from? Why do negative images of Muslims persist in so many societies today? To understand Islamophobia, we need to go back, way back. This isn't just a modern phenomenon. It has deep historical roots stretching across centuries. Let's look at medieval Europe first. In medieval Europe, Islam was largely unknown, but not unnoticed. After the rapid expansion of Muslim rule in the 7th and 8th centuries of the Common Era, Europeans encountered Islam first through war and diplomacy, not dialogue. Muslim rule extended across the Middle East, North Africa, Spain, and even threatened parts of Europe. In this context, Islam was framed as the other, a dangerous rival to Christendom. Christian polemicists and chroniclers painted Islam as a heresy, and the Prophet Muhammad, whom they called Mahound, was caricatured as a false prophet, a demon, or even a servant of the devil. In art and literature, Muslims were depicted as violent, lustful, deceitful, threats to Christian virtue and civilization. This wasn't just misinformation, it was a theological and political campaign to define Islam as the enemy. The Crusades, beginning in the late 11th century, hardened these images. Pope Urban II's call to liberate Jerusalem from Muslim rule wasn't just about land. It was framed as a holy war, a battle between good and evil. Crusader chronicles described Muslims as barbaric infidels. But interestingly, Muslim chroniclers also portrayed crusaders as savage and uncivilized. It was a clash of narratives. But in Europe, the anti-Muslim narrative became deeply embedded in Christian identity. By 1492, Muslim rule in Spain came to an end after almost 800 years of presence there as part of the Christian Reconquista. Within a relatively short period of time after that, Muslims were forced to convert to Christianity or expelled from Spain. This wasn't just a military victory. It was seen as a triumph of Christianity over Islam. European thinkers of the Renaissance, despite growing interest in science and exploration, often still relied on distorted medieval sources about Islam. Even as knowledge of the Muslim world grew, the stereotypes endured, and they would soon be repurposed in new ways. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Europe's relationship with the Muslim world changed again with the rise of colonial empires. This period gave birth to Orientalism, which is really a powerful mix of scholarship, art, and imagination that depicted Muslims and the East as exotic, backward, and in need of European control. Figures like Napoleon in Egypt and the British in India claimed to be bringing civilization to a decaying Muslim world. Islam was portrayed as stagnant, irrational, oppressive, especially toward women, and incompatible with modernity. This wasn't just academic, it justified empire. It reassured Europeans that domination was noble, even necessary. As colonial empires collapsed, new anxieties took shape. In the West, Muslim-majority countries were now seen as unstable, volatile, and rebellious. Western media often portrayed Muslim resistance movements as irrational fanaticism. Events like the Iranian Revolution in 1979 and the 9/11 attacks in 2001 added fuel to old stereotypes. Islam was again cast as a threat, not just to the West, but to global peace and security. Terms like Islamic terrorism became common in headlines, reinforcing the idea that Islam itself was the problem. Today, Islamophobia is fed by history, but also by media, politics, and fear. Muslim communities in the West often face suspicion, surveillance, discrimination, and even violence. But here's the thing: these negative images aren't new. They're old myths in modern clothes. And like all myths, they can be challenged. Understanding the roots of Islamophobia is the first step in uprooting it. History shows us that these ideas were created, shaped, and passed down, but they are not permanent. It's time to tell a different story. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and check out the other videos on this channel and explore the rest of the series for more insights. See you in the next one.